Hi everyone. Hello, my name is Zahra and this is my eldest daughter Sahar. For 5 long years we were detained on the island of Nauru. My husband Mehdi and I have another daughter and a son who was born on Nauru. For 5 long years my family were tortured by the Australian government and their crimes in Nauru. We are here today to represent the around 2,000 people who are in Australia after being detained in Nauru and Manus. Our story is like theirs, one of despair, filled with a small act of cruelty by government, wanting to win an election. We arrived in Australia on 9th of July 2013. After a terrifying boat journey, we arrived to be greeted by guns. There was not the Australia I thought I knew. The Australian government, led by Kevin Rudd, had decided that anyone who came by boat after that date would never be settled in Australia. My family and I were randomly chosen and sent to Nauru, where we lived in the dirt, in tents, with no privacy, with no hope. Everyone lost their mind in their place. Adults killed themselves to escape the hell we lived in. Children watched and tried to do the same, eating washing powder, stones, and cutting themselves. We did nothing wrong. We came to Australia seeking safety, which is a right under international law. But we were punished for 5 long years on Nauru. As a mother, I watched as my lovely young daughter slowly faded before me. The light went out from their eyes. My husband was beaten and thrown into the sea. It wasn't safe for us on that island. Yet the Australian government keep us there. The Australian government know that was happening on Nauru, and they did nothing. They know what was happening to the children. Sexual abuse, self-harm, mental health crisis, and they did nothing.
Shame!
They played game with us, processing things that never happened, promising things that never happened. It was living hell. For the families sent to Nauru, our lives are forever broken. We can never forget that day. Did they us what they did to us, what they did to our children. They deny humiliation. The hospital staff who sneered at us, telling us we would never be able to leave the island.
Shame!
The indignity of having to queue in the hot sun for basic, the guards who wouldn't let our children have shelves from the beach. Finally, we were brought to Australia because my children were so broken. They had to stop talking and were trying to end their lives over and over again. Even when we arrived, the immigration doctor was treating my 10-year-old daughter that she was send her father away if she didn't talk. The cruelty didn't end. We have been in Sydney nearly for 4 years. We have been trying to build our lives after the living nightmare of Nauru. I have a cleaning business and work with other women who were on Nauru. Mehdi works 6 days a week. My 2 daughters, my 2 younger children go to school. And Sahar, well, I'm going to let Sahar tell you what she's going right now. Thank you for hearing us.
Yay!
Right now, I should be at uni taking the final exam for the first year of my Law and International Studies degree at the University of Newcastle. But I am not. Why? Because my family and I are on a revolving departure visa, which has to be renewed every 6 months and only gives people under 18 the right to study.
Shame!
When we came to Australia, I found it really hard to go to school. School in Nauru was not a safe place for refugees, and so we stopped going. Eventually, my parents found a school in Sydney where I felt safe and flourished academically. In fact, I was offered 2 scholarships to 2 different universities.
Yay!
I started at the University of Newcastle this year, but after 7 weeks, the government took away my study rights.
Shame!
And I had to leave.
Shame!
My study rights being taken away from me left me absolutely shattered and broken. In that moment, I realized not only my childhood was taken away from me, but my future is being taken away as well.
Shame!
And this is a never-ending torture. I want to study law not to only make a name out of myself, but to be able to help refugees like myself, so that no other child, woman or man has to go through the inhuman things Australian government put myself and thousands of others through. This is the stuff you see in Afghanistan, under the Taliban, and in Iran, where women are being treated inhumanly and being beaten and killed in the street. This is Australia, a country that preaches human rights, and yet a 19-year-old refugee who wants to study has no rights.
Shame!
Today, I am here with my family to call for permanent protection for people like us. People that were picked at a whim by the government as punished for seeking safety. The families sent to Nauru and the men sent to Monroes have experienced living hell. We left our home countries because we feared for our lives, and yet we were thrown into detention and all but killed us. We will never be the same. We cannot start over again in another country. We are broken. Australia broke us. We need permanent protection in this country so that we can heal our broken hearts. I need a life. I need to live. Help us. Help me. Give us permanent protection now.
Yay!